Hey guys, welcome back to Bad Anime Decisions. I'm your host Fuyu here again for another figure unboxing and review. Joining us on stage today is Miyu Edelfelt from Phase Collide liner Prisma Illya. This particular one is the Prisma Klangfest version, which goes along with the Klangfest Illya we featured before on the channel. Anyway, let's get back to the main star of the show. Oh man, I've been looking forward to opening her up for a while. She was released last September, but because of the whole international shipping situation, and me being a cheapskate, she spent a whole 6 months in the middle of the ocean. Ooh, so shiny and glossy. So, yeah, pretty cool. Oh, I love the detail on the mic, so you can kind of see the grill. Lots of details on those flowers on her head. And her dress is very, very glossy. Both sides, outer and inner, so pretty cute. This rendition of Miyu is based on the key visual illustration for the Prisma Klangfest Anniversary Live event. The figure captures the feel of the illustration pretty well overall, but there are definitely some differences as we will soon see. Some of the more obvious ones lie in the head. The facial proportions have been modified and are more in line with Illya's sculpt. The face is a bit slimmer and the hair has become more voluminous. Speaking of the hair, the highlights are not painted on, but the sculpting catches the light well, creating natural highlights. The headband is glossy and has a well done golden trim. There are a couple of strands of hair poking out from underneath the headband at the back, adding in a little bit of realism. The flowers are still large and have a good amount of shading. The eyes have extra details added to them, and the cheeks have a subtle rosy tint. The shape of the mouth is a little more upturned, making her look a bit happier. Despite the changes, Miyu's expression retains the same feel as the illustration. Going down, we see that her capelet has a very glossy purple sheen on the outside face, while the inside has an equally glossy inner layer. The matte blouse features vertical etchings, giving it a ruffled texture. The placket is nicely painted and even the tiny buttons on it are accurately done. The giant outer layer of her skirt matches her capelet in color, though the pattern on the edges is slightly different, alternating between small and large semicircles instead of uniformly sized ones. It's a subtle difference, but adds a bit of variety to the figure. Compared to the original illustration, the outer skirt has a bit more volume and flows off to one side, giving it a greater sense of movement. The inner skirt is mostly unchanged and still covers her panties. Mostly. Going back up, there's a large ribbon wrapped around her waist, which is nicely molded and the gold accents are accurately painted. I will have to subtract a few points though, as the illustration has some sparkly effects on the blue parts, as if it's supposed to be made of glittery fabric or have some sequin. They could have used a metallic paint to achieve a matching effect, or applied some actual glitter like in this classic Mickey figure from Max Factory. Speaking of metallic paint, the bronze portions of her microphone shine. It matches Illya's exactly, and just like hers, the fine molding of the grills really stand out. Miyu's fingers are sculpted wonderfully, and her hands feel so dainty. Her gloves have the same glossy finish as the other purple parts, and the gold accents are applied with crisp lines. The folds at the joints are also a nice touch. Her thigh highs have similar folds in front of and behind her knees, and the cuffs of her thigh highs are also slightly thicker than the rest of the socks. The glossy purple continues down at her boots with matching painting and molding, though the soles of her shoes are slightly darker than the rest of the shoes. She is attached to the base solely through her left foot, but is near her center of gravity and is reinforced with a metal rod, so I'm not too worried about her tripping over from her own weight or anything. It doesn't really stand out, but at least it lets light through, and the small footprint means she can get all snuggly with her friends. Some of you may have noticed I have yet to address a very glaring omission. If you have watched our Klangfest Illya video, then you probably know what's coming up. This figure is missing the plaid pattern on all of the purple parts. Admittedly, applying all that paint or decals would probably inflate the price, but personally, I'd be willing to cough up the extra cash for more detail. While on the topic of the purple parts, they do not have the same sort of finish I would expect based solely on the illustration. There are some sharp highlights on the drawings, but overall it gives me more of a matte impression. It's not bad, just different. I already knew what to expect from the promo photos, but I don't think it would feel off if you were ignorant of the original picture. I have to admit though, the glossiness has the advantage of creating a neat contrast when Miyu is next to Illya. Thanks for making it this far into the video. Here's a little bonus item for you guys. Today's bonus is a wall scroll featuring Illya and Miyu in their magical girl outfits. They're always pretty cute together. So, was this a bad anime decision? The real question should be, did we really have a decision? After getting Klangfest Illya, could we really ignore getting this matching Miyu? Disregarding that non-answer, I say she is totally worth it. Some changes were made during the transition from 2D to 3D, but overall, I don't think they take away from the appeal. Honestly, aside from the lack of the plaid patterning, I actually prefer the figure version. This rendition of her feels more dynamic and radiates an absolutely angelic aura. But what do you guys think of her? Does Miyu deserve more love? We also have a couple of other figures of her if you would like to see those in the future too. Leave your comments down below, and remember, the answer is yes and yes. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and subscribe, and check out our review of the matching Klangfest Illya. Also, anime was a mistake. Bye!